was
So
wonderful.
what happened? I want to know what for you changed your trajectory towards Kris.
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I never
So,
changed how I felt about Kris.
okay, what was the gun ho comments that were made in the tavern? Because in the tavern you was like, I was never gun ho over Kris. Da da da
Because I
da. What
wasn't.
does that mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
because gung ho means, oh my God, I'm crazy in love. I'm crazy about this person. And that's not true. And I had already said, I won't allow people to put words in my mouth or define something as something that it's not, because I
Okay.
believe in being impeccable with my word and impeccable in understanding. So I try to keep things simple. And like I said, no, I wasn't gung ho over anybody because I don't even know Kris. I still don't know Kris. Just because you meet someone, that doesn't mean you know them. And in the past, as a youngster in my 20s, yes, oh my God, I like him. No, you like what he looked like. You like what he
Mm.
smelled like. You might like that he got money and y'all can go somewhere. But you really don't like him because if you take those things away, he dirty when you go to his house. That's his mama's car. He's terrible with finances. He lives with 5 roommates. I don't like that, so I won't like you. So until those things are established and I know how someone lives their life, and outside of a resort where they're planning and paying for the dates, it's not what we're doing, then how am I going to know if I like you? And I don't like to be misleading in that way. Of course, in the moment, if there is chemistry, hell yeah, we're going for it. But that's
Mm.
still a getting to, we'd only been around each other maybe 4 days.
Okay, so do you feel like, okay, so saying that, and I can work with this. So,
Okay.
you don't know Kris very well, so you can't make definitive conclusions as to where you stand, etc., etc. Do you
Absolutely.
feel then, if it takes you normally 6 months to get to know somebody,
Hmm.
I guess for a lot of us watching it, we might be feeling like, okay, so if it takes you 6 months to really get to know somebody, how do we get to the kissing part? Because if I can record the scene where you're sitting with Kris, Alicia, Anthony, and you've kind of said, obviously, yes, we've kissed 4 times, and you went,
Hmm.
a little dance, a little
Yeah.
shoulder pop, you know what I'm saying, a little shoulder pop, you know what I'm saying, like how is it that it takes you 6 months to get to know someone, but you don't
Uh-huh.
mind, I guess I call it putting your lips on someone's pillows.
Okay.
We
I
just want
mean,
to know,
well,
yeah.
I've had a one night stand a couple of times.
Mm,
So I've had sex on the first date a couple of times. That's purely physical.
okay,
I can sleep with you and not like you.
okay, okay.
So that was easy. And then, like I told someone, hell, it's supposed to be a dating show. And then at one day, we're supposed to feel like, oh, this is supposed to be week 3. Okay, I guess people kiss after 3 weeks, but it's really day 4. So then it's
Mm,
like, well, I wouldn't have done that in real life. But then sometimes I've kissed on the first date. I've had sex on the first date.
I understand.
So, you know, so that's how, guys.
So what is your, what is, since, because you said obviously your feelings haven't changed for him, so what is your feelings towards Kris?
So what ended up happening that day, unfortunately, I don't know if anybody knows how, well, we won't even go there with production anymore, but just put it this way. If you controlling something and you got a puppet and that puppet piss you off, you're going to sling it around and make it look crazy. That's fine. I don't care. So anyway, that same moment in conversation that Kris and I had when the production asked my cousin to ask him a question about finances, because that's not what we do in my family, and
Okay.
she was uncomfortable asking it, but we're team players.
Mm,
And when he said that answer, yeah, he said 50-50.
okay.
I never said 50-50.
Yeah,
Things
he
you
said it,
have to
yeah.
sit down and figure out how it's going to work for you. Me, I've always been a worker. I'm always going to be a worker. I just like to know what people's mindset is regarding finances, because you can have the money and not have the mind. And then
Mm-hmm.
you can have the mindset, and it will take someone like me to come in your life to make sure you got the mindset and the money, because that's what we're going to do. And so Kris's response, it threw me off only because we're around the same age. And I thought that a lot of people have done the work and
Mm-hmm.
they pretty much know how to answer questions. But that may not have been his thing, because that question would have thrown me off as well. Like, wait, if his friends came and they started asking me certain questions like that, I'm comfortable in me, so I wouldn't have mind answering them because I stay ready. But I would have been like, okay, they don't play. But Kris soothed my concern in that same conversation because as he stumbled, I said, baby, all I want to know is if I can't work, are we going to end up at your mama house or under the bridge? He said, oh, hell no, I'm going to do what I got to do. I said, oh, okay, well, that's good enough for me. That's all I need to know. As long as we're not getting kicked out of nothing and we're not starving. Because unfortunately, due to my past, I'm going to have to sit down when it's time to make babies.
Okay.
And I don't live a cheap lifestyle. So are we going to be able to afford my lifestyle? Those are very valid questions that I ask early on, because I can turn that into a great friendship. Kris can become Uncle Kris, Goddaddy Kris. But no, Kris got it going on. He could take care of me, him, the man across the street, and everybody else. So that's not Kris's story. It's just, they have a story to write. They got a show to do. So somebody has to look like the wimp. Kris definitely is not a wimp.
Okay.
Kris
so what would you say is your feeling towards Kris? Because that's where I think we want to find out. What is your feeling towards Kris? Are you feeling him as a friend? Are you feeling him as somebody who could have been potential? What's Nyya feeling towards Kris?
I wanted Kris to stay. Like, Kris and I never had any issues. I think the issue where he thought I had a problem is because somebody from the staff came to him and said, are you crazy? Do you know that's the first way to turn a woman off? To say something about splitting bills and you don't have no money? They made him feel bad. I didn't, because he answered the question. So later on, that's on his brain. While I'm on a date with somebody else and my cousin, because I had 2 dates with my family that you guys unfortunately didn't get a chance to see. So, when I saw Kris again, I'm like, are you okay? Because he looked disheveled. And he was like, no, I'm not. I said, okay, well, let me finish what I'm doing here and we'll talk about it. Whatever is bothering you, don't let it bother you. But later I heard that he had the conversation several times with other people after we'd already resolved it. There was no need to go outside of what we talked about. Or you wait and you talk to me. Don't discuss it with anybody else because we already resolved it. I don't want anybody in his business. And you see how that went. So later on in the deliberation room with Tommy, I want the person that's paying me the most attention to leave. He's been nothing but great to me, nothing but nice to me. I'm fixing his food, very nice to him, under him. We dressed alike almost every day. Why would I want him to leave?
Okay. So who, I don't know if you can tell me. So who's snitching? Because somebody snitched. Because in order for Rashid to come at the very end and say some of the guys did not like the way that you behaved towards Kris, somebody was snitching. So one of the girls or either production, I don't know, but somebody was snitching because that information should have never got back to Kris. Because obviously it was a girl's conversation in the tavern. So how did that information then get to Rashid and that? When obviously, because Rashid was coming to the very end saying obviously the guys didn't like the way that you handled, I guess, the situation with Kris, etc., etc.
Okay, well, those were lines he was given to tell because everybody knew that wasn't true. Because none of the guys voted me to. Well, nobody wanted me to leave. Not one person.
Okay, so none of the guys felt that you wanted.
There was a revolt that night and the next day.
Okay.
From everybody to production, like what the hell and how the hell. However, I have no complaints because I was ready to go. I just didn't appreciate the lie that was told to defame my character for something that was totally the opposite and not true. But because I was very boisterous and I guess I was very open about how I felt about the lack of luxury, accommodations, food, how we were being treated, and like I say, I'm not an actress. But if you want me to read these lines and say this and do this that way, that means you're directing me as an actress. If you compensate me, then I'll do whatever the hell you ask me to do. But for the pennies, no, I'm not going to do that. I can act a fool on my own.